You know, I don't think it's controversial to say that if Mortal Kombat 1 is anything, it's frustrating. Fighting games have always been very good at making players upset. You can be toxic, you can spam teabag, but Mortal Kombat 1 specifically feels like an incredibly frustrating game. Mortal Kombat 1's entire meta usually revolves around finding whatever cameo you can use with your character to make the most bullshit interaction happen of all time. Take, for example, when Mortal Kombat 1 first came out. It didn't matter who you were playing, it didn't matter why you were playing them, you had this cameo and you were spamming him every single time you used an unsafe move. But since then, of course, the game has evolved. We have gotten a bunch of updates, numerous amounts of balance changes, and things are different. But yet, this game is still frustrating. So, in today's video, we're going to be going over the most frustrating parts about every single character, starting with Ermac. And the interesting thing about Ermac is that he honestly is a pretty fair character, but there's one part about him that is completely bullshit. This buff right here is just stupid. Let me just do a very quick, like 25% very bare bones combo, just to show you guys what I'm talking about here. So that does about 25%. If I'm playing Ermac and I put the buff on, and I have any meter at all, it takes about half my bar and I take literally 0 damage. And in general, I take 0 damage completely. This move sucks to go against because you can close out any round with this. And usually I want to give you guys some sort of counter to these moves, but this move doesn't really have any. The best advice I can give you is try to hit Ermac when he doesn't have the buff on and try to force a break. That way he doesn't have any meter, so if he does get hit with the buff on, it'll go away as soon as possible. Next up on the list, we've got Kitana. And Kitana has a very famously annoying move. That move being down back 3. If you use this move after any down 1, it's basically impossible to down 1 Kitana. This is the move that makes it so that poking Kitana feels completely useless. Let's say that your opponent's blocking everything, right? I've got a Reptile here, he's able to block everything I'm throwing at him. Well, let's just say I'm playing Reptile and I'd like to counter poke Kitana. I see her using down 1s very often. Well, I get full comboed for that. This whole interaction is just incredibly frustrating to play against as Kitana players because it feels like any time you go for a down 1, you either see one of these moves, or if they're far enough, they'll go for one of these moves. That gives the Kitana player plus 10 on block. The best way to counter this one is obviously just be patient on your down 1. If Kitana is using this move a lot, it is minus 18, so you will be able to punish. Down back 3 is not so punishable, but it does have a gap in the middle. So if you understand your character's moves, you can use that to your advantage. Let's say I'm Reptile and I want to counter this move. The best thing a Reptile player can do to counter this move is actually slide, because it moves me and Kitana out of the way of the fan. Let's go ahead and try that out real quick. As you can see, it's a very good way to counter that. You don't get a full combo, but you do get a counter, and you will stop the pressure from spamming you all game. This even works for the enhanced version as well, so... For Mileena, I feel like I don't even have to tell you what her most annoying part is. I feel like every single one of you just know by clicking on the video and seeing Mileena in the top left corner. It's this stupid little ball roll move that is 12 frames of startup. This shit comes out faster than I do on the first date. I swear to God, I've never seen such a disgustingly quick launcher on a special move in my life. Watch this. 12 frames, instant launch, combo up the ass. You can do whatever you want after this. It's just stupid. And as for Mileena, that's really all she wrote. Most Mileena players literally just wait, spam ball roll all game from full screen just to get those full combos. It is annoying. But very similar to Kitana, if you play patiently and if you know they're going to be using ball roll whenever you're using your long range moves, you can bait out ball roll and it is punishable. The move is minus 36 on block, so you have more than enough time to punish her if you catch one of these ball rolls. The only issue being that it is still 12 frame startup, so it is ridiculously quick, but you can still catch her if you can predict it. As it currently stands, this will be changing during the Chaos Reigns expansion DLC, but Tanya is kind of cringe. Tanya has this absolutely broken armor move that every Tanya player currently loves to spam out of any situation. It's called the split kick. It's 14 frames, only minus 18 on block, but it is incredible to use and pair with cameos. Let's say I'm using Tanya Ferra. I can use Ferra to cancel out of it and get plus 2 on my armor. And that also combos. If I happen to cast them, I can get a full combo off this, even Fatal Blow if I want to. This is obviously incredibly annoying, but it's especially annoying considering that Tanya has insane moves on her own. She's got this incredible parry move that not enough Tanya players use well. She's got insane amounts of range. She's got this cringe string where you can just break anybody's armor. And some absolutely ridiculous range. Just take a look at this sweep. But with all that being said, the best way to counter this, wait until Chaos Reigns comes out. Because Tanya's like top 5 for this reason, and it's kind of broken. It's getting nerfed, so just I don't know, hold in there. The most frustrating part about Rain is definitely his setups when it comes to being able to set up your little whirlpool into your overhead. Let's just say I've got Sub-Zero as my cameo and I want to go for a setup. What I can do is I can just wait for them and get an overhead low setup on Wake Up against them. And it's even armor breaking. If you time this completely correctly, you can perfectly break their armor just in time to get a full combo. Now, Rain definitely isn't the only character in the game with options like this, but his is still especially scary, and in the corner it gets even worse. I've seen a lot of very smart Rain players use the water shield in the corner, not as an ability to block projectiles, but as a way to shield themselves from visibility. You can't really see what the Rain player is doing when this thing is off. So this is just an even better mix-up tool because it's kind of a pseudo-invisibility in that way. The way to beat this is really just block it on Wake Up. All you have to do is understand the exact timing. Rain has to time this correctly. It's on him. So if you block the low first, you're going to be able to block the entire setup. Rain can choose to go for overhead after or before low, so you've got to keep your eye on the ball and understand what's going on. But if you can do that, you will be able to block this pretty easily. I miss when Rain was a ninja. When it comes to Smoke, Smoke has absolutely one of the most broken moves in the game, and not enough people talk about it. Smoke's Wake Up is absolutely a ridiculous armor tool because you can either get an armor teleport, or if they decide not to hit you, you just go completely invisible. So not only does Smoke have one of the best wake-up games in the entirety of Mortal Kombat 1, but he's also completely ridiculous when he's invisible, because this is a mix-up character, ladies and gentlemen. This is not just some sort of rushdown character. He is all about overheads and lows, and overheads and lows plus invisibility equals death. A lot of Smoke players will use this string a lot, which is low overhead, and you can up-block the second overhead, but if you're a good Smoke player, what you'll do is you'll throw a low and then a low out again to catch them, because they will be looking for the overhead and you'll be able to catch them with a full combo. That's easy to block when he's visible, but invisible? Come on. Good luck blocking any of this. And like I said, this is an armor tool, so even if he hits me when I use it on Wake Up, I don't go invisible, but I still get a punish. In my opinion, this tool is not talked about enough as a get out of jail free card. You can quite literally use this in any situation that you want to, and as long as they don't have some sort of armor break set up, you're golden. However, there's one thing that you can do. If you know your opponent is waiting to use that, you can perfectly time an uppercut to anti-air them. That's really all I got for Smoke though. This move is absolutely bonkers and not enough people talk about it. If you've been playing Kombat League within the last month, you'll know what Scorpion's most annoying thing is. It's actually nothing to do with Scorpion. It's just Scorpion Ferra, because now they buffed back 3 and they also gave you Ferra. So what you can do is sit full screen and get basically half screen, mid screen mix-ups and get full combos off of them. So all you have to do is hit one of these and throw Ferra out, and guess what? You get a full combo. Hallelujah, it's as simple as that. You can also do the overhead version, quite simply, and get a combo. Would you look at that? How crazy. Scorpion's range with Ferra is absolutely insane, and the amount of damage that he gets with this character is crazy, dude. I don't think anybody has seen Scorpion Ferra damage and thought, oh wow, that looks fair. But truth be told, Scorpion has been in the dumps for quite some time, so it makes me happy to see him as a much better character now. However, I'm not gonna lie, the Ferra nerfs that they did to Ferra, that they made the low -10, they don't really affect this. Scorpion is so far away that when he uses this move, Ferra still is pretty much safe for him. So unfortunately, that is not the counter to this. The best thing you can do is just try to see when he uses the overhead move and try to up-block it. You still can't up-block Ferra, and you still get a pretty decent combo off of it. But keep in mind that this is still pretty much safe from mid-screen as Scorpion because of how far you are. So that's why this is such a good strategy, and that's why Scorpion might even be like a top 5 character now, because it's just really good. I mean, and worst case scenario, you can always armor after the low hit. That will work, but you do have to waste a bar for it, so if you don't have to, don't. For Reptile, I think we need to talk about just how annoying his force balls can feel if the opponent knows how to spam them correctly. You have a just comboable projectile that you can just send out full screen all the time over and over again that costs no meter. This is a great move to use as a Reptile player. You can quite literally just do so much with this move. I see him over there, boom, boom. That's not to mention the enhanced version is also really good because you can use it to go in on people and the ball stays out for quite some time. It pairs well with Slide or any sort of long-range move that gets Reptile in their face, because if they block it, you'll actually be safe because of the Force Ball. Good Reptile player will stay around this range using Force Balls to try to catch you at their perfect range, and when he does, you'll get comboed for about 40%. So in that case, the best way to counter this is to understand when your reptile is going to force ball and then look to jump at perfect timing. You can get hit in the air with force ball. It's a pretty big projectile, so you've got to time it right. You can't just spam jump all game, but if you're able to time a jump correctly and you're able to jump the force ball, you usually get a jump in plus a full combo. So Reptile is actually a pretty fair and balanced character in this game, and his invisibility isn't nearly as bad as Smoke's. Also, as an honorable mention, the Falling Fangs cancel spam is also kind of annoying, but it's a lot more counterable because all you have to use is a move while he's using it, so it's not that bad. But this can be annoying to deal with in a game, I'm not gonna lie. Now, Sub-Zero is famously not the greatest character in Mortal Kombat 1 right now, but there is one move that I don't think people talk about enough on this character, and that's this move right here. This move can break projectiles meterlessly, which is really good for your zoning game in Mortal Kombat 1, because usually you have to spend some bar to break a projectile. This move plus Sub-Zero's other zoning tools, for example, the ground freeze, for example, ice clone, for example, ice ball, make Sub-Zero one of the scarier zoners in the game. Now, his zoning is a bit slow and it can be countered by other people like Liu Kang, but this move is definitely underutilized and kind of hard to get around if you don't know what you're doing. Once again, the best way to get around this move is kind of similar to Reptile. You just understand when they're going to use it and look to jump it. This move is counterable if you jump it. However, it's a mid, so you can't duck it, and it's also not too punishable if you block it from a far range, so keep that in mind. One of the most annoying parts about fighting a Li Mei can be her safety. This character feels like she's plus on almost everything sometimes. Her 1 and 1-2 string are both +2 on block, which is pretty good. She's also got this string, which is +7 on block and a very good low. And finally, 4-3-4 is +3 on block, so she's just got an absolute lot of tools to keep herself safe and always be in the plus frames. But I mean, truth be told, Li Mei is not the best character. She's got very low range, and honestly, her projectile game is not the best. So to counter this, all you have to do is find out which of your moves can outrange her and then whiff punish Li Mei, because Li Mei is very prone to whiff punishes. So for Quan Chi, it's... Okay, next person. Baraka is probably the only character in the game who's still got the Season 1 Mortal Kombat 1 playstyle down, where your entire game plan doesn't revolve around combos, it actually revolves around chip damage. For this reason, you'll see a lot of Baraka Kanos or Baraka Strikers online. This character has a lot of chip damage with characters like these, for the main reason that you can make your Baraka Barrage move here safe on block. Just by doing that, I'm doing almost 100% in chip damage, and Baraka is the only character in the game who actually has a buff on his chip damage. Certain enhanced moves will apply this buff on them where they get a bleed, and during the bleed, they take extreme amounts of chip damage. We're already nearing like 20-something% just off of chip damage in one little projectile enhancement. The amount of chip that you get plus the bleed damage is asinine. Your best option is to try your best to flawless block this move. It has a couple of gaps in it, so if you flawless block it, you actually take 0 chip damage whatsoever. I would recommend just releasing block and then trying to block the second the next gap happens. As you can see, every single hit in that move has a gap, so just try for it, try to go for it. If he hits you, oh well. If you hit a flawless block, you're going to save your life. Out of all the characters in the game, I think that Geras has the absolute least bullshit. This is one of the more fair characters. But there is one thing that, if Geras does it, if the Geras player is able to perform this, I usually instantly leave the game. Any questions? Just like how I said Baraka is stuck on the Season 1 meta, Omni-Man is stuck on the Season 2 meta. This is a character who loves Kung Lao Hat because he loves to spam jump back all game. Omni-Man players love to do is just throw Lao Hat down and then look for the overhead. And you can get an overhead full combo from basically anywhere on the string, and it's an overhead low mix-up with the hat. This can feel incredibly annoying, especially when Omni-Man players do this shit all game. I'll tell you what, you go on Combat League, you fight an Omni-Man player, this is usually the only thing they'll be doing for quite some time. They'll also sometimes, instead of jumping back, just go for the stance. That way they can get a different version of the overhead low mix-up, but it still has the exact same feel to it. Unfortunately, the only way to really counter this is to find out which one is going to hit you first. You need to decide in the moment, in that split second, which of these is going to hit me first. Am I going to be hit by Kung Lao Hat first, or is Omni-Man's overhead going to hit me first? If you're able to decide and make an accurate assumption, you're usually able to counter this very well. This move is not safe on block by any means. This move is -27, so whatever punish that you want to get, you'll get. even if the Lao hat hits afterwards, a lot of times they can still do some sort of punish like a down one, but it is somewhat of a safety net, so keep that in mind. Peacemaker. Now, to tell you the truth, I have not seen this character since his nerf. I had kind of forgot he was in the game. It used to be Eagly and all these different projectiles he had, but at this point, man, Peacemaker is so weak that I don't even know. I guess Force Field and Eagly are still somewhat strong. Having any kind of full screen combo into a anti-projectile barrier is very good, but still, I will say that Peacemaker is a very weak character. I think that, as crazy as it sounds, they could buff him in the areas that have always been lacking on him. I don't think they should buff his zoning again, but I think they could make him a much more combo-heavy character, because it's kind of sad to see the state that John Cena's in. And I'm not even going to go over how to counter this because NetherRealm already did it for you. Now, people are kind of split between whether or not Takeda is good or whether or not he sucks, but I will say that I think Takeda is definitely a lot better than some people think he is, due to the fact that he has such great range. The fact that he can just mid you from all the way back here is a bit wild. I'm not going to lie. Like, this string is very good, and this is the string that we will be talking about in today's video. It's very frustrating to deal with, and Takeda's range is honestly just very underrated. This being a poke, a mid poke, I mean, come on. This is just ridiculous, dude. A Takeda player can catch you all the way from fucking 10 bucks to all the way back here. It's ridiculous. All they have to do is just press the string button and they get a full combo on you. And that's not even the worst part. They get this stupid teleport bullshit on you for free, basically. This move does have a very glaring counter in the fact that it is gaps. It has a lot of gaps in it. So if you have any bar, if you have any armor, and you have a move that can hit them from that far, make sure you use it a lot. When it comes to Takeda, really the only thing that he's got going for him right now is this insane range, so if you're able to just stuff him down every single time he goes for it, you're going to win the match. For Shang Tsung, it's 100% his zoning. I mean, young form just gets this ridiculous move right here, where you shoot 4 skulls if you enhance it and 3 if you don't. And then at any point, you can turn into your old form and just hit them with a mid-launching projectile and potentially get a full combo from it. Let's say I've been in young form and this guy's been ducking my high fireballs. I just quickly transform into old form and I get a full combo now, as free as I'd like to. And that's not to mention, if you enhance this move, the first hit becomes a mid. That means that if they duck it, they'll get hit with all 4 fireballs. This move is fast, it's quick, and it's annoying. Definitely one of the better zoning tools in the game. The best way to beat it is just to crouch the projectiles, look out for when he's enhancing it, and look out for when he turns into old form, because if he does either of those things, you need to block regardless. To tell you the truth, I think the most annoying part about General Shao comes from Movado. Ever since Movado released, he has become a grappler. Anytime your axe is in the ground, you get an armored command grab that does an absurd amount of damage. Yeah, holy moly. We're getting 45% off of an armored command grab. This strategy is horrifying considering that General Shao already has great offense, but the best way to counter it is just to understand that he can only use this when his axe is on the ground. So when he's got an axe in his hand, you cannot be grabbed, you cannot be command grabbed like that. You can still get like normal grabbed for some decent chunk of change damage, but it's not nearly as much as it is on the other side. You're not taking 45%, it's much more like about like 27, 28% off of this, which isn't the best off of a grab combo. You definitely don't want to be taking that, but it's much better than 45. Keep in mind, when that mine is used from Movado, you can't really use it for a pretty long time. You gotta wait for the full cameo cooldown before you can use it again, so you can't just throw it out there all the time. For Sindel, it's very similar to Omni-Man, but honestly way more annoying. Sindel players love to set up this cool Lao hat, but the way they do it is way worse because you can get multiple overhead low mix-ups in the same sequence. So all you really have to do is set up the low hat in the combo, and you can really do whatever you like as Sindel. The combo options and the ability to mix your opponent up is ridiculous. This is one of the biggest reasons that people call this character top 1. She is crazy. And this is broken enough as it is on its own, but if you're a good Sindel player, you'll understand that the way to play this character has to do everything with your cameos. Sindel has a unique move where she can actually make your cameos cooldown way less. So with someone like Kung Lao who already has a super low cooldown, this is broken. You basically get the best projectile in the game on like no cooldown for free, just for playing Sindel. That begs the question, how do you beat this? Well, I do not know. You pray to God and you hope that you block the right combination, because this character is ridiculous. I cannot block it for the life of me. You're asking the wrong guy when it comes to Sindel. This character is one of my most hated characters and matchups in the game. For Reiko, I wanted to talk about his command grab, but truth be told, Reiko's most annoying thing, and the thing that everyone hates the character for, has nothing to do with his grab or even being up close. It's just this stupid projectile he has. Like, this one move takes his entire playstyle from, like, grappler, rushdown character to the most annoying zoner in the game. This is an armor-breaking tool. It is completely insane. It's unbreakable. It has incredible amounts of projectiles. If you enhance it, all of them become mid. The ability to spam a move like this is probably the best in the game. This is the best spam move in the game, because you can just do it over and over and over, and if they get hit by it once, they're locked in the animation for a while. You can do a dash forward, you can do a dash back, you can just keep on spamming these over and over. There's no complexity, there's no thought, it's just shuriken. How do you beat this? The same way you beat every projectile. You look to jump it, you try to hit them when they're throwing it, you hit them with an overhead. The only issue is that this move can actually anti-air if it's timed correctly. If they enhance it and they throw it at you in the air, it's really good at anti-airing, so that's super annoying. And Reiko has some of the best anti-air buttons in the game. Reiko, when it comes to actually getting close to him, is super hard. And you can't even armor through these moves, because even the non-enhanced version is 3 hits, so it'll break any armor except for Ashrah's. Now, it's been a while since Mortal Kombat 1 has had a Raiden meta. We have been outside of the Raiden meta for quite some time, but this character actually has something that most Raiden players aren't doing that's pretty good. You have this triple hit low string, right? It's very good. It's always been one of Raiden's better strings. Well, Sonya recently got a buff to where she has an overhead that is +1 on block. You cannot get punished for using it. That means that Raiden has an incredibly good mix-up now, where you can go low overhead, +1 on block. It's 25-second startup, so it is somewhat reactable, or 25 millisecond startup, so it's somewhat reactable, but it's +1, so even if they react to it, guess what? You're fine. And the reason this is so strong with Raiden specifically is because of this string. You can choose to go low overhead, or just start out with the overhead. The amount of mix-up that this string provides to this cameo is really good, and Sonya is nice with Raiden. Sonya actually gives you some interesting meterless combo options. If you don't feel like spending meter, you can do that with Sonya. I get 31% without spending any bar. The way to counter this is quite simple. If you know it's coming and if you can predict it, you just simply throw out an up block when it's coming. Fighting a Reptile and he knows it's about to happen, all he has to do is up block, and now it's actually -24, so he gets a pretty large chunk of change off of that. Although the amount of layers that this mix-up has, you will be able to catch a lot of people for up blocking, and if they fail the up block on you, all you have to do is hit them with another low and then combo them. It's simple as that. When it comes to Liu Kang is fucking brain dead. The main reason I say that, and really the only reason I say that, is this stupid little string right here. Liu Kang mains just spam this string all game. I swear to you, it's just this string over and over. It breaks armor, it's mid, it's -4. It's all you have to do. It starts combos. What else more do you need as a Liu Kang player? This move is stupid. I am so sick and tired of seeing this string. It is the only string I see in the game, and usually they don't even go with the end part. You can counter the end part by like armoring it or something, but it doesn't even matter. It really doesn't even matter, because not only do you have some ridiculous armor breaks, some ridiculous mids, but you also have some of the greatest zoning in the game. Liu Kang's zoning is spectacular, dude. It is crazy. You got low projectiles, your enhanced projectile can break projectiles, you've got air projectiles, you've got everything you need as Liu Kang, plus this disgusting up-close string. And I mentioned this briefly before, but if you see a Liu Kang player going for the end part, you can always armor that end part because there is a gap in it, and that is how you can counter the string. But if they're not doing that, if they're not ending it, I mean, realistically, you can't do much. You kind of just throw it down one afterwards and hope for the best. For Johnny Cage, I think it's 2 things. Number 1, +4 on your standing 1 is crazy. The amount of times that Johnny Cage players just use this move over and over makes me quite upset. But when you take this +4 button and you pair it with one of the most annoying things in the game, Johnny Cage's ridiculous fatal blow, it becomes an absolute nightmare for your opponent. Anytime your opponent tries to take a turn back, anytime they want to maybe down 1 you or try to stop you from spamming your 1s, all you have to do is press the fatal blow button. Oh, you want to stop my turn? No thank you, sir. Free fatal blow. And just like that, I'm getting 35% just because he tried to punish me. The fatal blow being a counter that counters almost everything is good enough. But when you combine this with a character with so many plus frames that he failed subtraction, I don't understand how you're supposed to beat this shit. Your best option is quite literally just to throw out a projectile, because projectiles do indeed beat it. And for Kung Lao, I just want you guys to understand that this move is his armored wake-up move. You see that? That -7? Okay, we can move on. So for Ashrah, you know how every character has armor that usually breaks on like one hit? Well, watch this. That was 3 hits of shurikens, and I just tanked it to the face. The fact that you have an armor move that goes basically full fucking screen, that is only -13, and can tank 3 hits, is a bit ridiculous to me. I genuinely don't see why this move needs to exist in any capacity. Why is it so broken? Start combining that with Ashrah's other crazy bullshit, this Teen Titans go leap over your head like Robin type shit. I don't even know what to say about Ashrah. This character makes me upset, that's why she's top 5. Maybe top 10. For Nitara, I was going to go into this whole spiel about when Ferra came out, they basically overbuffed Nitara, and now she's just this absolute Dragon Ball FighterZ character, freakazoid who sits in the sky all game and you can't stop her. But then I realized she's voiced by Megan Fox, and there's nothing more frustrating than that. So for Havik, we've got, For Quan Chi, it's very simple. He has this new move that they added a couple of updates ago that basically gives him 3 hits of armor over time. It's very, very good in any situation. You can use it full screen and start using your long-range gritty stomps on them, and they can't really do much about it. You can set them up directly in front of you with a cameo like Sub-Zero and do some pretty wild stuff, not gonna lie. The portal also gets rid of your meter when you're standing in it, so anytime that you want to break when this portal is behind you, you can't do that. The best way to break this move is actually to throw out something like a 1 or a down 1 and then throw out your armor. What this does is it allows your character to take the first hit of Quan Chi's armor and then armor through whatever he's going to throw at you and allow you to break free of the portal. And just like that, all he has to do is break the first hit of my armor, and then he can use his armor to get through it. It's not very hard to counter, and it's very good against Quan Chi portal spammers. Finally, and most annoyingly, we have Homelander. This is probably the most annoying character in the game, and it only got worse when Ferra dropped. The reason that Homelander is so bad with Ferra is because Ferra turns Homelander into a full-screen grappler. You can basically do stuff like this as often as you want, and it's not hard to do. Like, you can just flat out teleport to them and get a command grab combo with Homelander. Even worse, this throw has tick throws with it. So let's say you hit a forward 4 from like kind of, you know, max range. What's going to happen is directly after that forward 4, you can go ahead and throw them. And get whatever combo you so please. It's really that simple. Everyone kind of knows how broken Homelander Ferra is. It's been the talk of the town for quite some time. And I do expect Homelander's command grab to get some sort of scaling nerfs, because you could do upwards of 45% damage off of a command grab with Homelander. That's stupid. And as an honorable mention, I don't think enough Homelander players talk about how good the enhanced laser is. Full screen, this shit is +7, and look at the chip damage. Like, this is such a broken projectile to spam if you actually understand how to do it. It's stupid. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the most frustrating thing about every single character within Mortal Kombat 1, before Chaos Reigns releases, of course. When Chaos Reigns releases, we might do an update and just go over the new DLC characters and maybe even wait for the guest characters to come out. So, if you guys want to see a video like that, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please also let me know that, because I worked pretty hard on today's video, and I want to know if you guys like this new style of video, just kind of longer and more, I don't know, less slower pace. Well, like I said, with all that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, I am going to be live on Twitch tonight, and I'm also going to be, I also have a Discord server where I post updates to my channel and my Twitch stuff, so if that interests you, go ahead and join that up. With all that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace out. My name is Big Flounder.